will revolve on the state of the economy, and we are joined by David Kingo, who is the research analyst at Cyton. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks a lot.
Maybe we can start looking at what's currently happening in the global arena, and we saw how the impact or the economic impact of the coronavirus, which is yet to have an effect on our economy. But then again, what's happening on the global front is also affecting us indirectly.
So just to mention about the coronavirus, in fact, today I had a conversation with the certain Chinese that we've been having business together as an institution. So we've really been affected in terms of even operationally, because some of the consumer goods that we buy even come from China. So look at that, it has affected a lot in terms of even real estate business, mention about service industry, all that, because we import a lot, we had a lot of intensive relationship with China as a country, which has come along the coronavirus effect. Yes.
And we saw the China imports, actually Kenya's imports from China decline by a huge margin, which is an indication that maybe Kenya should now start making sure that in terms of what we export, we are in terms of the things that we import, that we can be able to manufacture them locally, right?
Sure, but the relationship between Kenya and China in terms of importation is not strategic. It's a real-time relationship, whereby, like I saw an interview there of people wanted to start a salon business, and they had to get the machinery or the equipment from China. So that is very real-time purchase. So if someone wants to open a shop, then they have to go to get some items from China. If someone wants to construct a house, they have to get ceramics from China. So it's about real-time engagement that we're having with China. It's a bit beneficial to a country sometimes, and then to an extent, not beneficial to that, to also some extent. So it should be a way that the country looks at a strategic way, that when we have a lockdown in a certain country, it doesn't affect an immediate effect to our nation, because other countries would have such issues but will not be affected by on the importation scale. So it's good for the country now to have a strategic focus on countries where we have a lot of dependency in terms of imports.
Okay, let's take a look at what's happening at the NSE, and we saw the wiping out of about 91 billion shillings in the last 2 days, that is Thursday and Friday. And what would you attribute this to, even though we spoke to the NSE CEO and he did say that this is not as a result of what's happening at the global front, there are other indicators also?
So economic aspects are unique to every particular industry and every particular country. So before you look at effects that come to a certain industry internationally, you first have to clear the issues that are domestic. So talk about issues that are domestic, is that if we have had a slow economic growth in the nation, in the country for that take, then you will have most industries still having, or corporates having a struggle economic times. And because of the interrelationship between industry in the country, when we have a commercial or financial sector struggling, then industrial manufacturing sector will also struggle to some extent, because they need finances from this particular commercial sector. So the interrelationship of industries in this country, interrelationship of different sectors in this economy, now underlying the slow economic performance in the past 1 year, then definitely we would expect such effect on the NSE.
Okay, I'll jump now to inflation. Yes. So the inflation rate increased to 6.4%. That is a 10-month high, and this is attributed to the high food prices. Are we going to see this maybe when it comes to this month inflation rates, and also in the coming months?
So the parameters that are used to calculate inflation, one is the consumer price index. So most of the item that we buy as an economy is good for consumption. So you buy unga. So when perhaps they're used to measure the inflation index, so it will be high for that particular aspect. But now it has brought a confusion, because the story you talked about where government wants now to buy foreign exchange from our own commercial institutions, because that we call it a sterilization effect. So I mean, it will have an effect of money supply in the economy, and when you have an increase in the money supply in the economy, definitely it translates to higher inflation. So now that the government will have a mechanism to wipe out the excess supply of money, then we might see the inflation still increasing.
Okay, yes. I wish we could continue with this conversation, but time is not on our side. But we will definitely invite you again as we elaborate, or we talk about how the economy is performing and looking at various things that are happening across board. And that is how we wrap up this afternoon Inside Business. My name is Caroline Jenge. Have a great afternoon. See you in the evening for more business news.